Planning a trip this year? Your travel plans could be completely derailed by these 8 passport and ID rule changes that most travelers don't know about. Even seasoned frequent flyers with thousands of miles under their belts are getting caught off guard and turned away at security checkpoints daily. Will your documents pass the TSA's stringent new requirements, or will you be the next traveler forced to watch your plane depart without you? Today we're breaking down everything you need to know about the latest TSA rules that could wreck your next trip if you're not prepared, and the simple steps you can take right now to guarantee smooth travels while others face costly disappointments. Number 8. Real ID Deadline. Are you ready for the day when your regular driver's license won't get you through airport security anymore? The Real ID deadline is finally happening on May 7, 2025, after being delayed multiple times since Congress passed the Real ID Act back in 2005. When this critical date arrives in less than a year, you'll need either a Real ID-compliant driver's license or another acceptable form of federal identification to board any domestic flight within the United States, even short hops between neighboring states. This isn't just another bureaucratic hurdle, it's a fundamental change in how Americans will travel domestically. This sweeping change affects everyone who flies within the United States, from business travelers who fly weekly to grandparents who only fly once a year to visit family. No one is exempt from these new requirements. How can you tell if your license already meets the new standards? Look for a star, bear, or flag symbol typically located in the upper right or upper left corner of your license. If you don't see one of these symbols, your current license will be rejected at TSA checkpoints after the deadline, leaving you stranded at the airport. Getting a Real ID isn't automatic or a simple replacement of your existing license. You need to visit your state's DMV in person with several specific documents. 1. Proof of identity, such as a birth certificate or passport. 2. Proof of Social Security number, Social Security card, W-2 form, or pay stub. 3. 2 documents showing your current address, utility bills, bank statements, or mortgage documents. 4. If your name has changed, you'll need documentation proving this change, like a marriage certificate or court order. To make the process smoother, many states now offer pre-application systems where you can upload these documents online before your in-person appointment. This can significantly reduce your time at the DMV, turning what might be a 3-hour ordeal into a 30-minute visit. According to the Department of Homeland Security, wait times for Real ID appointments are expected to increase dramatically as the deadline approaches. In states like California, Florida, and New York, DMV appointment availability is already stretched thin, with some locations booking 2 to 3 months out. By early 2025, getting an appointment could take 4 to 6 months in high-population areas. The statistics are concerning. Despite years of awareness campaigns, nearly 30% of Americans still don't have a Real ID-compliant license according to the TSA's latest data. That's approximately 100 million people who will need to update their identification before the deadline. If you're among them, the time to act is now, not when the deadline is looming. Number 7. Acceptable identification documents, your Plan B and C. What would you do if you arrived at the airport and suddenly realized your driver's license was expired, missing, or left at home in your other wallet? This nightmare scenario happens to thousands of travelers every year, but there's no need to cancel your trip if you know about TSA's lesser-known acceptable ID options. The TSA officially accepts 16 different forms of identification at airport checkpoints, not just driver's licenses and passports. This little-known fact can save your trip in an emergency situation. These acceptable IDs include 1. Passport cards, the wallet-sized, cheaper alternative to a passport book at just $65 compared to $165. 2. DHS Trusted Traveler Cards, Global Entry, Nexus, Sentry, or Fast. 3. State-issued enhanced driver's licenses, available in Michigan, Minnesota, New York, Vermont, and Washington. 4. U.S. military IDs, for active duty or retired military and their dependents. 5. Permanent resident cards, green cards. 6. Border crossing cards. 7. federally recognized tribal-issued photo IDs. 8. HSPD, 12 PIV cards, for federal employees and contractors. 9. Foreign government-issued passports. 10. Canadian provincial driver's licenses or Indian and Northern Affairs Canada cards. 11. Transportation Worker Identification Credential, TWIC. 12. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Employment Authorization Card, I-766. 13. U.S. Merchant Mariner Credential. What many travelers don't realize is that a passport card, which costs only $65 compared to $165 for a passport book, works perfectly for domestic flights and even land/sea travel to Canada, Mexico, and the Caribbean. It doesn't work for international air travel, but it's a perfect backup ID that fits in your wallet. According to the TSA's own statistics, over 60,000 travelers per year are initially denied boarding because of ID issues. That's approximately 165 passengers every day who face the stress and potential cost of missing their flights. Travel industry experts recommend implementing these ID backup strategies. 1. Keep a digital scan of your backup ID options in your phone's secure folder or encrypted cloud storage. 2. Consider storing a passport card in a different spot than your wallet, like in your carry-on bag's inner pocket. 3. For international travelers, keep your passport and one alternative ID in separate locations while traveling. 4. Set calendar reminders for when your various IDs expire, giving yourself plenty of time to renew. The TSA does have an identity verification process for travelers who arrive without ID, but it adds at least a 30-minute delay to your security screening time, and in busy airports during peak travel seasons, this process can take up to 2 hours with no guarantee of success. The process involves answering questions about your personal information that can be verified through public databases. However, approximately 7% of travelers who attempt this verification process still end up being denied boarding. Having multiple forms of acceptable ID isn't just about convenience, it's travel insurance that costs nothing extra once you have the documents. Number 6. Passport Validity Requirements, the hidden 6-month rule. Have you ever heard the horror story of someone who got all the way to their dream destination only to be turned away at immigration? Many countries won't let you in unless your passport is valid for at least 6 months after your planned departure date. This rule catches thousands of travelers off guard every year, turning dream vacations into expensive nightmares. Countries throughout Europe's Schengen area, most of Asia, and many parts of South America strictly enforce this 6-month rule. Even if you're only going for a weekend trip, your passport must be valid for half a year beyond your return date. Why do so many countries have this requirement? It's designed as a safeguard against visitors overstaying their welcome. If your travel plans change unexpectedly, due to illness, emergency, or even volcanic eruptions like the 2010 geological eruption in Iceland that stranded thousands, countries want to ensure your passport remains valid during any unforeseen extended stay. According to the U.S. Department of State, passport validity issues are one of the top reasons Americans face entry problems abroad. In 2023 alone, over 5,000 U.S. citizens were denied entry at foreign borders due to passport validity issues, with each case costing travelers an average of $3,000 in lost reservations, return flights, and emergency accommodations. Even more concerning is that different countries have different requirements. 1. Most European countries require 3 months validity beyond your planned departure. 2. Thailand requires 6 months from the date of entry. 3. China requires 6 months validity and at least 2 blank visa pages. 4. Brazil requires validity throughout your stay but doesn't have a specific month requirement. A simple check today can save you from that sinking feeling of being denied boarding at the gate. Before booking any international trip, look up your destination on the State Department's country information pages. Each page clearly lists the entry requirements, including how much validity your passport needs. When you know your passport has plenty of time left, you'll walk confidently through immigration while others are pulled aside for questioning. Set a calendar reminder 9 months before your passport expires to start the renewal process. You'll thank yourself later when your travel plans go smoothly without any last-minute panic. Travel experts recommend maintaining at least 12 months of validity on your passport at all times if you're a frequent international traveler. This gives you the freedom to take advantage of last-minute travel opportunities without worrying about document issues. Hit that subscribe button right now to never miss another travel secret that could save your next vacation from disaster. Number 5. Passport renewal options. Did you know that waiting until the last minute to renew your passport could cost you hundreds of extra dollars and ruin your travel plans? The State Department now offers an online passport renewal system that can save you time, money, and stress. But not everyone knows about it or qualifies to use it. With the online system, you can renew your passport from your couch instead of waiting in long lines at acceptance facilities. You'll feel the relief of checking this major task off your list in minutes instead of hours. The online renewal system launched nationwide in February 2023 after a successful pilot program. Early data shows that online renewals are processed up to 30% faster than mail-in applications, with fewer errors and rejections due to the guided application process. However, to use this convenient option, you must meet specific criteria. 1. Your most recent passport must have been issued when you were 16 or older. 2. It must have been issued within the last 15 years. 3. You can't have changed your name, gender, date of birth, or place of birth since your last passport was issued. 4. Your previous passport can't have significant damage beyond normal wear and tear. 5. You must be physically present in the United States when applying. If you don't meet these requirements, you'll need to use the traditional mail-in renewal process or apply in person at an acceptance facility, typically post offices, clerk of court offices, or libraries. The standard processing time for passport renewals is currently 6 to 8 weeks, but during busy travel seasons like summer and holidays, this can stretch to 10 to 12 weeks. This processing time begins only after your application is received and entered into the system, not from when you mail it. Expedited service costs an extra $60 and still takes 2 to 3 weeks. According to the State Department's own data, over 40% of passport applications during peak seasons experience delays beyond the stated processing times. These statistics highlight why planning ahead is so crucial. If you need your passport even faster, you can make an appointment at one of the 26 passport agencies for true emergency service. Travel within 14 days, but spots fill up incredibly fast. During summer months, these appointments are often fully booked within minutes of becoming available. The cost breakdown for passport renewals in 2025. 1. Standard passport book renewal, $130. 2. Expedited processing, additional $60. 3. 1 to 2 day delivery service, additional $19.53. 4. Passport card, as an add-on when renewing book $30. 5. Passport card only renewal, $30. Check your passport's expiration date today. Future you will be so grateful you planned ahead. Industry experts recommend setting a calendar reminder 9 months before expiration. This gives you plenty of time to handle any unexpected issues without stress. Number 4. TSA pre-check and clear. What if you could walk right past those long security lines while other travelers watch in amazement? TSA pre-check membership is like having a VIP pass at the airport, letting you keep your shoes, belt, and light jacket on while your laptop and liquids stay neatly packed in your bag. The program costs $78 for a 5-year membership. That's just $15.60 per year to transform your airport experience. According to the TSA's official statistics, in February 2024, 93% of pre-check passengers waited less than 5 minutes at security. Compare that to standard security lines, which average 25 to 30 minutes at major airports, with peak time stretching to 45 to 60 minutes. Imagine strolling through security in minutes, then relaxing at your gate with a coffee while others are still shuffling through the regular line. PreCheck is available at more than 200 airports nationwide, covering 90% of commercial air traffic in the U.S. When combined with Clear, a separate service that uses biometrics to skip the document checking line, you'll feel like you're teleporting through the airport. Clear uses your eyes and fingerprints instead of physical documents, allowing you to bypass the first checkpoint where IDs are verified. While more expensive at $189 per year, frequent travelers report that the combination of Clear and PreCheck can save up to 45 minutes during peak travel times at major airports. You'll walk confidently past the snaking regular lines, straight to a dedicated lane where agents are waiting just for you. The psychological benefit is significant too. Knowing you have a fast track through security reduces pre-flight anxiety and allows you to plan your airport arrival time more precisely. A common mistake is assuming the PreCheck logo on your boarding pass means you're automatically enrolled. It doesn't. You must complete the application and in-person appointment before your trip. The enrollment process includes 1. An online application that takes about 10 minutes to complete. 2. A 10-minute in-person appointment for fingerprinting and ID verification. 3. A background check that typically processes within 3 to 5 days, though it can take up to 60 days in rare cases. The TSA also warns that wearing bulky jewelry or forgetting to empty your pockets can trigger additional screening, erasing your time-saving advantage. To maximize your PreCheck benefits. 1. Avoid wearing large metal jewelry or accessories. 2. Empty your pockets completely before approaching the scanner. 3. Follow officer instructions precisely. 4. Keep your known traveler number, KTN, saved in all your airline profiles. 5. Remember that PreCheck benefits don't transfer to traveling companions unless they're also enrolled, with the exception of children 12 and under. According to travel industry statistics, PreCheck enrollment grew 15% in 2023, with over 15 million members now enjoying expedited screening. As standard security lines grow longer due to increased passenger volume and enhanced screening procedures, PreCheck is transitioning from a luxury to a necessity for regular travelers. Number 3. Traveling with children. Don't get separated from your kids. Have you ever seen the panicked look on a parent's face when a TSA officer asks for documentation they don't have? When traveling with children, knowing the exact rules can mean the difference between a smooth journey and a stressful ordeal that your kids will remember for years. For domestic flights, children under 18 don't need ID when traveling with an adult, but they absolutely need passports for international travel, even babies. This requirement catches many first-time family travelers by surprise, especially when traveling to popular destinations like Mexico, the Caribbean, or Canada that didn't always require passports in the past. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the single biggest delay for families at international borders is incorrect or missing documentation for children. In 2023, over 8,000 families faced significant entry issues due to improper child documentation. The requirements become even more stringent when children travel with only one parent, grandparents, or other adults. Border officials are trained to be on high alert for potential child abduction or custody issues, which means they'll scrutinize your documentation carefully. 1. Contact information for the absent parent/guardian. 2. Details of the trip, dates, destinations, purpose. 3. The absent parent's explicit permission for the child to travel. 4. Notarization, highly recommended though not always required. You'll feel a wave of relief when you hand over that permission letter to a questioning border officer, watching their concerned expression turn into a smile and nod. A common mistake is assuming that a child on a parent's lap doesn't need a passport for international travel. They absolutely do. The State Department warns that there are no exceptions to this rule, even for newborns. Many airlines also require birth certificates for lap infants on domestic flights to verify their age. For single parents with sole custody, bring documentation proving this status. For adoptive parents traveling shortly after adoption, bring adoption papers. For guardians, bring legal guardianship documents. Having digital copies stored securely on your phone as backups is always a good idea. Child passport applications are more complex than adult applications. Both parents or legal guardians must appear in person with the child at the acceptance facility, or the absent parent must complete a notarized statement of consent. Child passports are only valid for 5 years, unlike adult passports which last 10 years, so you'll need to renew them more frequently. Number 2, liquids rule is still in effect. Have you ever had to throw away an expensive bottle of shampoo or perfume because you forgot about the liquids rule? Despite rumors of changes and new technology being tested, the 311 liquids rule remains firmly in place at TSA checkpoints throughout the United States. This rule requires all liquids, gels, and aerosols to be 3.4 ounces, 100 milliliters, or less per container, with all containers fitting in one quart-sized clear bag, and one bag allowed per passenger. The 311 rule was implemented back in 2006 following a thwarted terrorist plot involving liquid explosives on transatlantic flights. While it was initially presented as a temporary measure, it has become a permanent fixture of air travel. The European Union had announced plans to lift similar restrictions by 2024 using new scanning technology, but implementation delays mean most travelers worldwide will continue facing these restrictions for years to come. According to the TSA's own data, liquids rule violations remain the #1 reason for secondary bag screenings, with over 30 gallons of prohibited liquids confiscated daily at major airports. That's nearly 11,000 gallons of personal care products, drinks, and other liquids discarded annually, representing millions of dollars in lost consumer products. When you pack your liquids correctly, you'll glide through the security line confidently, watching others frantically unpacking their bags when flagged by agents. Your preparation can save you 10 to 15 minutes of delay during the screening process. The only exceptions to this rule are medications and infant/child nourishments like formula or breast milk, which you should declare for inspection. These items can exceed 3.4 ounces and don't need to be in your quart-sized bag. However, you should inform the TSA officer that you have these exempt items before your bags go through the scanner. A common mistake travelers make is assuming that expensive or sealed items get special treatment. They don't. That $50 bottle of designer perfume will be thrown away just as quickly as a $2 bottle of shampoo if it's over the limit. The TSA specifically warns that arguing about this rule is the top reason people end up delaying themselves and others in line. Travel experts recommend these strategies for dealing with the liquids rule. Purchase travel-sized containers and refill them from your full-sized products at home. Consider solid alternatives like shampoo bars, solid perfumes, and powder cosmetics that aren't subject to liquid restrictions. Research whether your destination has easily available personal care products that you can purchase after arrival. If traveling with valuable liquids like expensive perfumes, special skin care, check your bag or ship these items to your destination in advance. Keep your liquids bag easily accessible at the top of your carry-on to avoid unpacking your entire bag at security. Number 1, arriving early enough, the ultimate travel hack. What could be worse than planning a perfect vacation only to miss your flight because you underestimated airport lines? The single biggest issue that wrecks travel plans is not allowing enough time at the airport, and it's completely avoidable with proper planning. The TSA officially recommends arriving 2 hours before domestic flights and 3 hours before international flights. During peak travel season, summer months, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and spring break, smartly add an extra hour to these recommendations. According to TSA data, security wait times can triple during these high-volume periods, with some checkpoints seeing over 70,000 passengers in a single day. At Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, the world's busiest, security lines have been known to exceed 90 minutes during holiday rushes. When you give yourself plenty of time, you'll stroll through the airport relaxed and unstressed. Instead of anxiously checking your watch every 30 seconds in a security line, you'll be comfortably seated at your gate, maybe enjoying a snack or getting some work done before boarding. Airport arrival timing should be based on several factors. 1. The size of the airport. major hubs require more time than regional airports. 2. Time of day. Early morning and late afternoon bring peak business traveler crowds. 3. Day of week. Monday mornings and Friday afternoons see higher business travel volume. 4. Season. Summer, holidays, and spring break create longer lines. 5. Weather conditions. Bad weather can create backups as delayed passengers try to rebook. 6. Whether you're checking bags, add 20 to 30 minutes if you need to check luggage. 7. Whether you have pre-check/clear, these can save time but aren't guaranteed. The most common mistake travelers make is assuming that having TSA pre-check means they can arrive later. While pre-check does save time at security, it doesn't help with unexpected traffic jams, parking shortages, or long check-in lines that frequently occur during peak travel periods. The TSA notes that cutting it close remains the top reason travelers miss their flights. One missed domestic flight costs travelers an average of $200 in rebooking fees and lost time, while international missed flights can cost upwards of $400, not including additional overnight accommodations or missed connection penalties. These TSA rules change all the time, so hit subscribe to stay updated on the latest changes that could affect your next trip through security. Nobody wants to learn about these regulations the hard way, by having their carefully planned trip disrupted or ruined. The reality is that knowing these 8 critical rules puts you ahead of 90% of travelers. While others are scrambling to solve problems at the airport, you'll be confidently proceeding through checkpoints with properly prepared documentation and realistic timing expectations. Remember, the best travelers aren't those with the most expensive luggage or first-class tickets, they're the ones who never get caught off guard by preventable documentation issues. These TSA rules change all the time, so hit subscribe to stay updated on the latest changes that could affect your next trip through.